Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raw Take. I'm your host, Rob Reed. This is your review for the August 5th, 2021 Homecoming edition of AEW Dynamite. Before we get into the review, I do have a few words to say about when I got home late last night from work. I learned of the passing of beautiful Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton was like one of the first guys I saw outside of like WWE, WWF bubble as a kid. I I I was a WWF kid up until like early 90s. And one of the first things I see that's not WWF is Bobby Eaton jumping off the top rope, doing a leg drop, doing the Alabama Jam. And I was just mesmerized. I'd never seen somebody, outside of Macho Man's elbow drop, I'd never seen somebody do a top rope move like that before. Especially a leg drop. I knew Hulk Hogan leg drop. But I had never seen someone jump off the top rope like that. And I was absolutely mesmerized. And I became a fan. And I didn't know he was a bad guy. But I was immediately a fan. Immediately a fan. And hearing about his passing, that definitely made things a little sad. By the end of the night, by the time I went to bed, that was kind of rough. But this is your review for Dynamite, the Homecoming edition. This I'm not saying it was a bad show because it wasn't. It was still a good show. Plenty of things to talk about. But when you're comparing it to like the last 3-4 weeks. This was a little bit under par for what is used to be expected for a Dynamite. I do figure after a month of just insanity that they had to like tone things back a little bit. But we'll get into it now. The show starts. We have the third labor of Jericho. It is Jericho has to win using a top rope move, and he is facing Juventud Guerrero, one of his biggest rivals in WCW. It's something like 22 years since the last time we really saw Juvi versus Jericho. Pretty crazy. This match, it started out a little rough. They were not on the same page. A lot of sloppy spots at the beginning. It upset me because they tried to do something that I really wanted to see. Juvi tried to do a Hurricane Run off the top rope, and it was like a harking back to their match in WCW where Juvi lost his mask. Juvi went for a Hurricane Rana, and Jericho caught him. It was off the top rope, and he was supposed to catch him in the walls of Jericho, but it was a little sloppily done. Not nearly as clean as when they did it in like '98. But after this, they got more on the same page, and the match got a lot better after that. We saw he hits a Judas effect, but he can't go for the pin because he has to hit a move off the top rope. He goes up to the top rope and comes off with a top rope flying Judas effect. I thought that looked really cool, and that's your finish. I thought that looked really good. I hope they scramble to add that to the AEW game. I thought it was really cool looking. After the match, Wardlow comes out. He attacks Jericho and also beats up Hoovy. And MJF comes out and says, "Your fourth labor is Wardlow, and there needs to be somebody there to make sure everything's called down the middle." I think things got confused, even for commentary. People thought that he was supposed to be special guest referee, but apparently it's more of he's just going to be at ringside, more like a ringside enforcer. MJF is, and Jericho has to face Wardlow. And I felt was underwhelming with all the lead up and all the labors that Jericho has been doing. You know, he went through Nick Gage in a death match, and he did a match with Hoovy where he had to do a top rope move and all this. And then his fourth match is just Wardlow. And I love Wardlow. And I think Wardlow should be prominently used, but he's going to be used to lose to Jericho. And I think he's better. He has better uses than that. And also, I think with the story they've been telling, Wardlow is a bit of a letdown for what people were hoping the next labor would be. Could have been better. Next, we have a backstage segment with Penta and Phoenix. They're backstage. They're talking to Alex Marvez. Talking to Dasha. And Alex Abrahante says, "It's amazing. Somehow, Pac got his flight canceled. He wasn't able to make it tonight." And this brings in Andrade and Chavo. And Chavo tells Penta and Phoenix that, you need to stop working for Pac. You'll actually show up on time, show up to the shows on time, and flying jets and ride in limousines. I think it's very funny that Chavo keeps saying that they're working for Pac, and every time they say, "We're not working for Pac, we are all friends with Pac." That's the difference. Funny enough, Penta has this really long in Spanish rant on Andrade, and gets to Alex Abrahantes, and he says, "Penta says no." I thought that was really funny. This long rant, and then he says, "No, Penta says no." I thought that was funny. And later on, there's Chavo and Andrade are backstage, and Chavo says, I got a replacement." He brings in Fuego. He says, "We got a job for you. You're going to shine Andrade's shoes." He's like, "I'm not going to do that." And Andrade beats up. I am perfectly fine if they hire Fuego del Sol just to come in, just to get beat up every week. I am here for it. I thought everything they did tonight was pretty good. And furthers along the story with Andrade and the Death Triangle. I was fine with this stuff. Next, we have a really, really fun match. It's 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. 2.0 are the former Everrise from NXT. They're teaming with Daniel Garcia. They take on the team of Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin. This is a match. Everybody knew who was going to win the match. But this match was a lot of fun. There was a point in the match where it was Matt Martell. I can't remember what his name is. Matt Lee, I think, is outside, and he walks up to. He sees Sting, and he's like, "Are you the real Sting?" And then he's marking out seeing Sting, and then out of nowhere, Darby Allin comes and just does a dive at 80 miles an hour, and just flies through Matt Lee. I thought that was really good, really funny. Obviously, they get in the ring, and Moxley hits a paradigm shift on Daniel Garcia, tags in Darby. Darby hits the coffin drop. 1, 2, 3. Really fun match. Everybody knew who was going to win, but it didn't matter. It was fun. It was really good. We have a backstage segment with the Dark Order, and they finally catch up to Hangman and like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And Hangman's like, I drug you into something that I really shouldn't have. This fight of mine with Kenny is mine, and I think we need to have a break. I think for now we should go separate. And most of the Dark Order's like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? We're buddies." And Stu Grayson and Uno are like, "No, respect his wishes. He feels he needs to do this on his own. Let him do it on his own." And this goes into later tonight. There's another backstage segment with the Elite, and there are teases galore in this backstage segment. There's so many Easter eggs. One person is wearing a Cookie Monster shirt, CM. One is wearing a Hawaiian flower shirt, like Bray Wyatt. We have one of the Good Brothers is Doc Gallows is wearing Ric Flair robe, and Carl Anderson is wearing a Bollywood Boys shirt. Comment down below if you saw anything else any other teases. Those were the ones I personally caught. But this was just them saying, Hangman couldn't, in the Dark Order, couldn't get it done. Later on, we have an in-ring interview with Hangman. And almost immediately, the Elite come out. And at first, it looks like Hangman is trying to apologize and get back into the good graces with the Elite. And they're like, we're not doing that. You're not worthy to be in the Elite. And Hangman slaps Kenny. Rest of the Elite just beat the crap out of Hangman. Good Brothers hit him with the Magic Killer. The Young Bucks pick him up to do the BT trigger. And the Dark Order try to come out. But Stu and Uno stop him. No, this is his fight. This has nothing to do with us. This is his fight. He wants to do this on his own. So they leave. But Frankie Kazarian comes out. He doesn't care what the Dark Order and Hangman want. He wants his revenge on the Elite. He comes out, tries to fight off the Elite, but the numbers get too much. They beat him up. I am loving every bit of the Elite Hangman stuff. Obviously, they're still leading to him winning the title. The Adam Page and Dark Order losing last week have nothing to do. They're stretching it out longer, but it's obvious the end goal is still put the title on Hangman Page. I'm perfectly fine with all this, and it looks like we know who I'm guessing will be the opponent for Kenny at All Out later. We get Britt Baker is interviewed. Within like seconds of the interview, Red Velvet interrupts her. Britt Baker says, "Didn't I beat you in like 3 minutes?" And Red Velvet actually brings up the term enhancement talent, which is someone who is hired to be booked to lose matches. She said, "Well, that was when I was still an enhancement talent, earning my ropes. But now I've got like a 12-4 record or something like that, and I've won 7 matches in a row, and I want to challenge you to a title match." And Britt says, "Well, okay. There's a next Friday, the debut of Rampage is in Pittsburgh, and you can have your match then." So, match is set. The debut of Rampage, Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's title. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think I know where the big pay-per-view match. I know I have seen the rankings they've done, and Thunder Rosa is number 1. So I imagine they're going to be run back Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa for the title All Out. That should be big. That should be really big. Thunder Rosa is getting like the biggest pops everywhere she goes right now. So I have a feeling on Rampage they're going to have the dueling intros, because Britt is going to get a gigantic pop when she comes out in Pittsburgh. But I'm sure Thunder Rosa will too when she comes out after the match and they have their stare down. That's going to be really good. Next, we have Christian Cage is taking on The Blade. Quick, easy match. I think it went longer than it needed to. It was like a 15-minute match. Christian wins. No surprise there. And after this, we find out that Christian is now the number one contender to Kenny Omega's AEW title. So it looks like that is going to probably be your title match at All Out. I don't think it's going to be the main event. I think I know what's going to be the main event. You're not bringing in CM Punk, especially since they've decided, they're going to hold back on the Hangman Page title win. I'm guessing they're going to hold that back off until I think it's either the Arthur Ashe show in New York, or they're just moving on to Full Gear. that would also be perfect because it is Hangman Page's namesake pay-per-view. So that would work too. I think with CM Punk coming in, they didn't want that to that whole thing in Chicago to overshadow Hangman's finally getting his big title win. So I think that's why they're moving that. And I'm fine with that. I think that's a good idea. They don't want to make Hangman winning the title seem like it's nothing. And I like that. I think the main event of All Out is going to be Darby Allin versus CM Punk. Because that's going to be the biggest match coming into the show. So then we have a TNT title match. Lee Johnson takes on Miro. I thought Lee Johnson was going to get murdered in like 2 minutes, but it's actually a very, very good back and forth match. Lee Johnson hits like 3 or 4 dives, but I think on the last dive he was supposed to get caught by Miro, but just Lee Johnson's momentum just still knocked Miro down, so it still looked like he did an effective move, even though it was kind of botched, but it still looked pretty good. It still made Lee Johnson look good, but eventually Miro gets the upper hand, gets the big kick on Lee Johnson. Game over. It locks in the camel clutch. I kind of like his new variant where he pulls him back and kind of grapevines him. I kind of like that. Nice to differentiate the finish now, and he gets the tap out win. Next, we have a NWA Women's Title Eliminator between Layla Hirsch and the Bunny. This was also really good. The Bunny has been doing some really good work lately, and Layla Hirsch, I liken her to like Taz. She's like obviously like the shortest woman on the roster, but she like just throws with all her suplexes and throws. She reminds me of Taz in ECW, which may come into play. Layla Hirsch ends up winning the match after actually a really good long fight to get the armbar in, and she gets the tap out. And she has a stare down with NWA Women's Champion Camille, and Camille looks like she stands an entire foot over Layla Hirsch. Like Layla is barely coming up to Camille's chest, like just barely. I think this is going to lead into a lot of when I mentioned Taz. I think this is going to be very, I think this is going to resemble Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow. But I don't know if they're going to put the title on the NWA title onto Layla. I still think Camille is going to win. But this should be good nonetheless. They're both really good. That should be good. I was kind of hoping Mickie James would come out and make the match official for Empower. But she didn't. So there's a backstage thing with Dan Lambert. He said he's coming back. He hasn't forgot what Lance Archer did to him, and he is coming back, and he's got backup. I think it's going to be Filthy Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler is part of America Top Team. He is also the New Japan Strong Neverweight champion. I think that's who is coming in, and I think that should be a really awesome match, for sure. I'm 100% fine with that. And finally, we get to the main event. It is Cody Rhodes taking on Malachi Black. Malachi Black is making his AEW in-ring debut. And this was Malachi Black murdering Cody Rhodes. Like, it was, didn't even go 5 minutes. Malachi beat the crap out of Cody Rhodes. It was very similar to almost a year exact to when Cody got beat by Brody Lee for the TNT title. It wasn't like as just complete squash like that one was, but it certainly was not competitive. Like every time Cody tried to do something, Malachi had a answer for it. Like every single move Cody tried to do, Malachi Black had a answer for. Cody went to the top rope. Malachi Black kicked him, and he fell back into the timekeeper's table. Barely gets into the ring before the 10 count, and immediately eats a black mass. Malachi puts his foot, doesn't even cover, just puts his foot on Cody Rhodes. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. After that, Tony Schiavone comes into the ring, and he's going to talk to Cody. Has this like little crutch to help Cody get his balance. Cody Rhodes looks like he's out of it. And one thing I like here is like he started the promo like he was like talking like you would if you were just waking up. Like I thought that like he was kind of slurry, like getting his bearings. And he starts talking about how, you know, he got into wrestling. He started his career when he was 15. He was a referee. All he ever wanted to do was, you know, win the championship that was taken from his dad and all this. And he's building this up like obvious. Everything he mentions, you know, he actually brings up inner turmoil between the EVPs, between him and the Bucks. I don't know if that actually happened, but he did bring it up in this promo. Says AEW, he said he left. He broke up with the other place. They didn't break up with him. He decided to bet on himself. A lot of people said him, the Bucks, and Kenny were crazy, and they said they were going to revolutionize the business. He said, and now, let's not mince words. We're no longer just an alternative. We are the competition. And all this, and he says, with all due respect to Daly's Place, he said, this to me is the AEW amphitheater. And he starts to take his boots off like he's retiring. But before he even gets there, Malachi Black comes back and attacks him again. Hits him with the little crutch. I don't think, I'm not in any way do I think Cody Rhodes is retiring. Both Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes are both the exact same age. There may be like a couple months difference. They're both like 36 years old. Them treating Cody Rhodes acting like he's this old man when he's still in his like mid 30s. I don't think that's going to happen. I know that he's getting ready to go big show, so that's probably going to take a few months. So he's going to take a few months off, which this time I'm fine with this. If they let Malachi build up a bunch of wins and then Cody comes back and gets his win back, I am fine. Just like a month or two, no. I don't think that's how you do it. I like Cody, but he does have a tendency to win when he doesn't need to. But as tonight proved, there's a lot of people that claim that Cody Rhodes buries talent. And stuff like this is obvious that he does not. Like, he alone has helped build up. He made Brody Lee in AEW 100%. Unfortunate what happened with Brody, but Cody was very much instrumental in Brody's success. He made Darby Allin a couple times. A couple matches he had with Darby, he really spotlighted. Plus, the second match he had with Darby, he lost the TNT title to it. He's done a lot. I think people soured on him after the whole thing with name is escaping me. The one from the boxer. I can't think of his name right now. Which is kind of telling. Ever since that match, they haven't really done much. And here tonight, he completely made Malachi Black look like a beast. Oh, and Malachi Black has one of the coolest entrances in AEW. He has like this, like almost Shao Kahn-esque skull mask. Looks really cool, and like a hood over it. And it looks really cool. Really awesome looking entrance. Everything about his presentation is spot on. And they're making him look like a killer. I love it. Like I said, tonight, I wouldn't say tonight was particularly amazing, but there was still a lot of stuff on the show. Like, there was still a lot coming out of it. Which is all I've said in the past, that's all I ask is they try and they, actually do stuff. Everything on the show at least somewhat tries to lead somewhere. Like, there's not much on a Dynamite that is just there. Like, it's usually, the trios match was just some fun, just a fun match. There's that. But like everything else on the show, like, meant something. Is leading to something, and I love it. I love this stuff. It really is unfortunate that I'm probably going to be lumped in with AEW stans, because I fully admit right now I'm a way bigger fan of AEW than I am of WWE right now. And it's kind of unfortunate because I grew up a WWF kid. And seeing WWE just getting to this point where they don't care. That's the problem. It feels like they don't care. And all I ask is for a wrestling company to care about their fan base and not treat them like idiots. And that's my review. Now, if you like this review, give a like down below. Subscribe. Comment down below. I do want to read comments. I want to see what you guys think. I want to get better at this review stuff. Try to build a community. I'll see you guys next time. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Rob Reed, MrRobreed. And I will see. I'll have a link down below in the description. I will see you next time.